Greetings everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll make another honest review video. This time it's for Resident Evil. Well, if you follow my channel for basically since the beginning, you know that I'm a big Resident Evil fan. I'm a big survival horror individual. Loving the series still to this day. And I'm gonna make a video about it, so let's begin. Without, of course, with the introduction out of the way, let's begin. So, what I think the Resident Evil series? Well, the Resident Evil series, I think the Resident Evil series to me is like a wave. Sometimes big waves equals big splashes. Sometimes have a smaller wave that has small splashes. Sometimes there's no wave at all. So the series kind of went ups and downs for me. In my opinion, there's ups and downs. There's good games, there's bad games. There's games where like decent. There's games where like what the hell they were doing. So join me on this journey. Well, I started playing the Resident Evil, mostly RE4, since 2009, late 2009 to be exact. You know, that was playing around some video games until I got this game from my mom. Mom gave me the game, and I thought in my head was Silent Hill Origins, because prior to Resident Evil 4, I played Silent Hill Origins the previous year, 2008. So I played it. It was like a scary game. I didn't care much about it, Kind of creeped me out sometimes. Sometimes I don't play scary games like those because I get easily scared. All that stuff. So yeah, I didn't care much about it as a young kid because the only thing I cared about at that time was Tekken, GTA, and time wrestling. So yeah, these were the things I actually care about. And then around 2010 is where I started delving into the series myself. I haven't watched any YouTube videos or anything like that. Even though at that time I started using the internet sometimes, but I started this whole series for myself because I got a memory card and I was like, let's play Resident Evil 4. So I played some. I enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun. It took me about probably a year playing. So I was playing I was off and on. I played Resident Evil 4 at the time when I was younger, and I beat Resident Evil 4 in 2011. So it was pretty much a good experience. My first experience was still, I remember my first experience dealing with the regenerators. It was creepy. The chainsaw guy used to scare the shit out of me when I was younger, but now it was just easy. But now it's just, back then it was scary. It was pretty cool to see like the animations, the characters, where I got to Leon, all that shit. So yeah, Leon is one of my favorite like male characters in the series. He's my first character I know. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Then after that, I played Code Veronica, which is pretty much basically I played the game that came out previously for the PS2. And I know people would say, Chris, what do you think of the controls? So since at the time I was 13, I was playing it. Well, I didn't have issue. I didn't have any problems at all with the controls because the controls were pretty much fine. I mean, fixed camera angle was okay, I guess, because it's not my first time playing a game that has fixed camera angle, because the last game I played with has fixed camera angle was God of War. So yeah, I know these two are different franchises and different things, but hey, fixed camera angle wasn't the issue for me, never as a kid. So Code Veronica was a good experience, enjoying it, loving the soundtrack. Every time I play Resident Evil Code Veronica, and I haven't, after like playing it Code Veronica, the only thing when I was a kid I remember for Code Veronica is the save room theme. That's my favorite soundtrack. It's probably one of my early favorite soundtracks to the Resident Evil series. Like, before that was the Merchant theme, Serenity theme, which is definitely the theme I'm playing in this video, of course. And the save room theme for Resident Evil Code Veronica was amazing. It's beautiful. I love it. I still listen to it from time to time. Really amazing soundtrack. Real bumping soundtrack. Then I'm gonna tell you guys a story as well that around 2011, so around, I think I would say around mid to late 2011, I go to arcades When I was in the arcades, actually, there was a section of the arcade that you could play PS3 games. You know, because I didn't see, and heck, I was gonna see it. I was like, look at the games through. I was like, yeah, it has a bunch of games. It got Mortal Kombat 11 because the game was brand new at the time. Um, I played, like, for example, TNA Impact. You know, the TNA game. You know, that was a pretty fun game actually. Pretty underrated sometimes. I think so. It's pretty underrated. It's a pretty good game. And I played, and as well, Resident Evil 5 is there. So I played RE5, and yeah, I died a lot. It was fun. It was different. The controls were a bit different than I used to, so it was a really good experience to start up with playing Resident Evil 5, and hopefully, I was thinking, hopefully, I'll get a PS3 so I can play Resident Evil 5 and play other games. Well, basically, a year later, 2012 rolls around. We got Resident Evil 5. Actually, no, not Resident Evil 5. Sorry. I got the PS3, and then a few months later, I got Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Yeah, that game I hated as a young kid. I totally hate the game when I was young because they changed everything about the gameplay and all that stuff, and the gameplay was sucks. It felt like shit. But now the game is it's kind of a guilty pleasure to play. It's still fun. You know, play with friends. It's not that bad really of a game right now. It's like not that bad. It's actually pretty fun sometimes. It's a guilty pleasure. So we're gonna jump straight into, and that all happened like halfway through around August. Then by the end of the year, around Christmas time, I bought myself 3 games. Actually, yeah, I bought myself 3 games. I bought the double pack of actually Resident Evil 5 and the Silent Hill HD collection. Yeah, that's where I got reintroduced to Silent Hill. So got reintroduced to that series again after like many years without like knowing anything about it. Got reintroduced to it. Well, damn. So now you know why Chris became a Silent Hill fan. If I didn't got reintroduced to Silent Hill at that time, I wouldn't care about the series at all. So, but hell, I was glad I got to know the series a lot more after that. I know the series, but that's a video for another time. So, yeah, I got Resident Evil 5 with it. Then I got Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Yeah, and it was awesome to play a new Tekken game. And this is actually my first Tekken game in a new. No, it's actually the second Tekken game, new generation. The first one was 6. 6 was awesome. 6 was pretty damn sick. I love Tekken 6. Tekken 6 was amazing. So, played Resident Evil 5, had a lot of fun. Then a year later, I got Resident Evil 6 because I was excited for it. And actually, back to 2011, I used to watch footage of Resident Evil 2, the original Resident Evil 2. And it was really great, actually. I was hooked actually in it. Actually, like, I was surprisingly hooked with the series because at that time, 2011, I was new to it, and it was great. I loved it. I felt the game looked nice, you know, it looked like pretty cool. I know it was a PS1 game, but it was pretty interesting. See how the game used to be like, and that's like after playing Code Veronica. So I was basically planting the seeds. And at the time, I was dreaming of playing Resident Evil 2. Well, young Chris is gonna realize his dream, and the dream becomes a reality, and basically 4 years later, in 2015. But we'll get to 2015 later. So, year 2013, I played Resident Evil 6, it was fun, it was enjoyable. At the time, Capcom decided to release an HD version or console version of Resident Evil Revelations. Well, I went to Resident Evil Revelations with a low expectation, very low expectations. I felt like because the game felt different, the monster design felt different, it wasn't that great. It felt like zombies, or zombies shooting each other, you know, like the action type. Well, the game proved me wrong, and actually it turned out one of my favorite Resident Evil games that came out at that time period. Resident Evil Revelations is one of my favorite games. One of my reasons I like about the game, and one of the only things I love about the game, is the enemy design. The enemy design of Revelations 1 is so unique. It's very different than any of the enemies in the series. You know, it's different than the Regenerators. I know, like, oh, they look great, look like Regenerators, but no, they're different. They're different than Regenerators, completely different. And knowing that the game is set between Resident Evil 4, before Resident Evil 4, or sorry, like around the events of Resident Evil 4 and before Resident Evil 5 by a couple of years. So because the game took place in 2005, so this is the same year Resident Evil 4 took place. So it was going on around the same time as Resident Evil 4, but before Resident Evil 5. So it's pretty much a prequel to Resident Evil 5, but happened at the same time as 4. So it was good to see Jill again, see what happened to Jill after the events of the Raccoon City. So, and as well after the events of the taking down Umbrella in Russia a year prior. So yeah, it was great. It was a great adventure. It was a really great adventure. I enjoyed it. And then 2014 rolled around. There were no Resident Evil games coming out at that time at all. There were not even a single Resident Evil game came out in 2014. So yeah. So 2014, you know, I started entering the digital world on PlayStation, aka the PlayStation Store, when I first got introduced to it by my own, of course. My first thing I bought for getting, I remember getting my PSN card, my gift card, for $20. I got Resident Evil 4 on it. I think it was 20. So I bought Resident Evil 4. I downloaded it and played it again, and haven't played the game in a year and a half. Haven't played in the PS2 in a long time, so I played on the PS3. It was awesome. I still have it to this day, so it was pretty cool to play a PS3 port. But the PS3 port, it's kind of ass. All it does is basically enhance the graphics for the PS, enhance the graphics, and just have the sound bites for the PS2. If you play the PS3 version, they have the PS2 sound effect. They don't have the like the much more modern sound effects. So yeah, they have the PS2 sound effects. So, but still, kind of. The PS2 version of Resident Evil 4, I have actually the PAL region, which is by far the coolest fucking version. The disc look fucking amazing. The PAL region of Resident Evil 4, like the disc and the packaging, are fucking cool. I mean, I have the NTSC version, which is this, which hopefully I can pop pictures on the screen and tell which one is a PAL region, which one is the American region. What it used to look like, so you'll see differences. So hope I can pop the pictures. So basically a year later, I heard about Revelations 2 being announced, and I was like, okay, Revelations 2 is great. And at that time in 2014, not only that, I also got replayed Code Veronica and finished it at that time as well, because, you know, I didn't get the bundle. I got Code Veronica and Resident Evil 4 separately. It was amazing, and I love playing it. Heck, I beat Code Veronica for the first time. It was awesome. Now it goes 2015, which is basically the biggest year for me. 2015, boy oh boy, there's a lot of Resident Evil games I played, and there's a couple of Resident Evil games that came out. So 2015, we know that at that time Capcom began, you know, the remaster era. This is the remaster era where started for Capcom. This is where Capcom started doing the remasters for games. They announced Resident Evil Revelations 2 to be released around that time, and I was very excited because I played the demo. I was pretty excited because Revelations 1 was amazing. Well, Revelations 2 was like one of my first decent, okay Resident Evil game. It was decent. It wasn't too great. It was alright. It wasn't like excellent. Compared to the first one was way better. What makes this game alright is the inclusion of Claire and Barry. Both these characters make a return. Mostly Barry. All people have eyes on Barry. And they've done a very good job with Barry's character in that game. I thought they were gonna fuck him over, because Barry was the most requested character to return in the Resident Evil series by that point. And he never made an appearance in a mainline Resident Evil game since the third one. In the original 3, the guy in the helicopter, the pilot, was Barry, because if you guys don't know about this about Barry Burton, he along with Chris were working at the same Air Force. Yeah. And Chris Redfield sees Barry as not only as a mentor but a friend. This has got a little bit of lore here for the character, a little bit of lore character here, so which is really cool. When I figured out what I know about that, it was pretty cool. So Revelations 2, and the other thing I like about Revelations 2 is one of the only Resident Evil games that have multiple endings. It only happens in one particular boss fight. So, which is pretty cool, which I'm not gonna say. I was thinking about saying it, but I was like, no. Well, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna tell what the hell happened, so you have to play it for yourself. So, and if you do a specific action, Moira's is gonna die, and there's a girl named Natalia, who was in Terra Grigia. There are a lot of references and callbacks to the first Revelation, which was pretty cool. Revelation is kind of its own mini side series, and hopefully they're gonna make a third one starring Rebecca. I'd like to see Rebecca Chambers make a return. I think Revelations could be a good place for characters who weren't appeared in the mainline series. It'll be pretty good. Hopefully we see Billy in there, or maybe Hunk. We'll see how it goes. And speaking of Revelations, I'm not much a big fan of the raid mode series. Raid mode is kind of like a little mode. You go from point A to point B while killing enemies, all that stuff. So it's kind of a weird mode. It's not like really Mercenaries. It's a completely different mode altogether. Kind of reminds me of the old Mercenaries, like the Resident Evil 3 Mercenaries, Mad Jackal. Yeah, the Mad Jackal one from Resident Evil 3. That's what actually kind of reminded me the series is. So, yeah, it was alright, But I like the Mercenaries way more. Mercenaries is basically just defeat as many enemies as you can and get some time bonuses and all that stuff. So record points. It's pretty cool. Railroad wasn't that much of a big thing for me. So, got that. I played Resident Evil 1. I've seen footage of Resident Evil 1. Actually, I heard Resident Evil 1 and 0 gonna make a release, actually, from Capcom. Because they say that Resident Evil 0 will be released in early 2016, January. We'll get to that later. So I played Resident Evil 1 Remake. I hated the puzzles. I hated how much puzzles that game was on. But it did not ruin the experience for me to like the game. I like the game still, even if there's so many puzzles. And I got pissed off. This game has like a lot of puzzles, but at the end of the day, I like the game because I think it's really beautiful, and the enemies are you have the Crimson Heads and all that. It was scary seeing a Crimson Head for the first time. It was scary. So yeah, but yeah, it was great. And then the more I played, the more I liked it, and it became one of my favorite Resident Evil games. Then I decided to delve into the Resident Evil series by playing the classics. Yep, I played the classic games in the summer of 2015. I played Resident Evil 1. The version I played for Resident Evil 1 is not the same version I streamed a couple months earlier. It's actually the third version. The music change version, yeah, that one was great. And then I played Resident Evil 3 as well, so that's that one. Dream Nemesis was alright, it was okay. It wasn't like my favorite, but it was pretty good. Then, after 4 years, I finally played Resident Evil 2, and boy oh boy, I always tell myself, why this game is so good? Like, I always say, why this game is so fucking good? For an old game, I expect to be the game, like, it looks terrible, looks old, looks ancient. No, I loved it. So, even when I was younger, a young teenager, I didn't care much about graphics. As a 17-year-old, yeah, I didn't care about graphics at the time. So I was 17. So it was a great experience. I was a senior high school at the time, so I was a senior year. It was a great time. I was a senior. I was actually starting to become a senior in high school. Anyways, but so it was great. It was really great. So after that, I played the Chronicle games, They had more story, they had more things. It was really great as well. It was really good. And some story, stuff like that. It was really great. Then, 2016, there's no Resident Evil 6 games. I think, no, 2016, they decided to release something for their anniversary, their 20th anniversary, and guess what they give us? They give us goddamn Umbrella Corps. Jesus fucking Christ, a freaking multiplayer Call of Duty shooter. First time seeing this, I was literally saying, are you fucking kidding me? Really? So this is how you celebrate the 20th anniversary, to get this game off? And it's not only me, everybody hate this. So compare this game to, I don't know why I want to compare this. Compare this game to, I don't know, anything, I guess. Any like shitty spin-off title, fuck it. Compare Resident Evil Umbrella Corps to Metal Gear Survive. That's how fucking bad it is. And it's just basically mission. I played it once for my friend's account, and it was bad. I laughed my ass off and seeing how fucking bad it is. It's a game that nobody need to experience. No one in the right mind deserves to experience this. It was horrendous. Then I was like, okay. A trailer came in the summer 2016, A3 2016. Oh, what is this? First person? Oh, it's Resident Evil. I didn't expect that. I expected something other serious. But it was in the back of my head. I was like, is that Resident Evil? And I was like, oh shit. I was like, they just a new character, new direction, all that. I was like, awesome. They're going back to the horror, because Resident Evil 6 sold poorly. Didn't sell as much as Capcom wanted. It kind of almost, Resident Evil 6 could have almost killed the series, but it didn't. Still survived. But damn, Resident Evil 7, I was excited actually, and I played the demo when it first came out, after the beginning hour, demo, and I have to say, it was one of the best demos I ever fucking played. I would say it almost rivaled PT. It reminds me of PT, but in Resident Evil form. It was so good. There's secrets, there's hidden Easter eggs. Even they updated that to bring in a new enemy type, which is molded, which is by far one of my. I don't like much of molded really. I didn't like the mold because mold look like pieces of shit. They look like a stupid pile of shit basically as an enemy. That's what they are. So, the demo was amazing. It was a hit, and I was extremely excited that I actually bought the physical copy. I still have it to this day. And 2017, and then 2017 hit, I got the game. This is where the year I started, it's beginning this, having a love-hate relationship. This is where it all begins, by the way. This is where I have kind of a mixed feelings to Capcom. This is where I started to see the light. So this is as I speak. So went in, played Resident Evil 7. Was great. It wasn't amazing. It was great. And then I got bored of the game. Okay, here's the thing. When the game first released, was great. The DLCs were awesome. I was like, okay, this game's actually getting pretty well. Then something hit me. Something really hit me. Is this even a Resident Evil game? I started doubting. And then seeing, oh my god, this fucking new character is boring. Even I was like the main character, even when I played, the main character was boring. And and then Capcom said that, hey, we're gonna delay the Not Here DLC till the end of the year and decide, let's just make the Resident Evil series be a yearly thing. I remember they said that in its own video. They're gonna make it a yearly release. That singular video, I hope I can find it actually, and maybe I'll put in the link description about that video what changed everything. This is where it changed everything. This is where I started like, it's like, were you fucking kidding me, Capcom? This is fucking bullshit. And then when December hits, the DLC when it releases, it was kind of bit mediocre. Then then you got End of Zone, which is another DLC. I think it was a paid, I'm not sure. It was alright, mediocre as well. So it took them basically the entire year, almost a full year, to release the DLC by the end of the year. And the game became from a game I was like, okay, the game is decent, to a game that's like, I have like kind of like I was able to give the game kind of a 6 out of 10, but I give it back a 5, and then a 5.5 with the DLC. Like a 5 actually with the first DLC, but the second batch of DLC was a half, so 5.5, so it's like 6 out of 10, so it was okay. It wasn't perfect, so yeah. I want to talk about Resident Evil Village in this video because I already made a video about this. I'll definitely link down the Resident Evil 8 video, how my opinion was on, so because I will not talk about it, because honestly I already talked about enough of that game. And speaking of Resident Evil again, let's go back to Resident Evil 0, which I never mentioned. Out of all the Resident Evil games I talked about, I have never ever talked about Resident Evil 0. And this is for the first time on this channel. I'll talk about Resident Evil 0 for the first time. So what I think of it. It was a good Resident Evil game. It's a Resident Evil game with flaws. The things I hate about Resident Evil Resident Evil 0. They removed the inventory. They removed the item box, which is a big mistake on my part. So you basically you drop items and you need to remember where you put that item in. So you had to remember where you put that item. Oh, I have a gun. Like normally, if you have something you don't want to, you just basically put it away. But the problem is that you put it away in the box. But in this game, you drop the item. You can leave it and then come back and get it later, which is kind of stupid. Plus, another thing I hate is that you play 2 characters at the same time, simultaneously. It was terrible, and I don't know why Capcom think they wanted to. You can actually control both characters. You can, and both characters has different abilities and different abilities and ways. It was terrible, and I don't know why the fuck they just decided to do that instead of having like separate campaigns. I'd rather have a separate campaign, one for Billy, one for Rebecca. I like the chemistry between both of them, actually. The chemistry between both of them are really great. And Billy Kong was such a badass character. So yeah, that's why I don't talk about Resident Evil 0, because it's kind of a forgettable game to me. That's why I don't talk about it. If you guys like Resident Evil 0, that's cool. To me, it's kind of a forgettable Resident Evil game. It's a good game, but it's just forgettable. So yeah, I think that's all I had to talk about Resident Evil. Overall, to me, it's a good series. I'm not saying it's amazing, but I still, in heart of hearts, I still like it. Now we have to wait till Resident Evil 4 remake, and I'll say it once, and I'll say it again. If they fuck up Resident Evil 4 remake, I will officially make a video saying that I am done with the Resident Evil series and I'm done with Capcom. I know I said this many times, but I'm saying it again. And I'm serious about this. I'm not gonna be saying like, oh, I'm not gonna play, but I'm just gonna... The only thing I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna play Street Fighter 6. If Street Fighter 6 came out before Resident Evil 4 remake, then cool. If after it, then cool. I'll get that game and that's it. I'm done. And because I'm just done with their bullshit when it comes to the Resident Evil series and milking the fucking franchise and not give all the franchises a shine like Devil May Cry. So yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed my rambling for about almost 30 minutes. I hate rambling for 30 minutes. At least like 20 minutes would be at least good. But hey, it was a good video. And I have anything really to say. I gotta say that I think of those videos that I make, like those honest reviews, as kind of like a little bit, kind of like an experience video. I really like think about it. They're more like experiences than reviews. But I have to call it honest reviews. It was like, I don't know, but sometimes I think of them as kind of experience in some way. I might reiterate the title or change the title to Experience, Yakuza Experience, Devil May Cry 5 Experience, Resident Evil Experience. I think I should definitely change to honest review, maybe. Or maybe we could do it slash experience. I will definitely update those. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit a like button, subscribe, share this video with your friends. We're on the road to 200 subs. That's definitely our goal, and we're very close actually. We need a couple more subscribers, and I hope I can get 200 by the end of the month, maybe, or by the start of September. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'm out. See you. Greetings, Future Chris here. I completely forgot to talk about Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 Remake because I have listened my voice audio for the video, and I forgot to talk about it. So here we are. I'm gonna talk about it right now. So Resident Evil 2 Remake came out in 2019, and prior to this game's release, I was excited, but at the same time I was worried about they fucking up the game, because, you know, Resident Evil 2 Remake, in the midst of development, they say we gotta go and do the third-person Resident Evil 4 type gameplay, which I was like, I was actually happy about it that they go in that direction, but at the same time I wish there was an option to play the game on fixed camera angle, and all that kind of stuff. So I was really, pretty happy still they would go to that third-person view. And I played the demo. The demo came out. It was pretty much a short, like 30-minute demo, and it's just one shot only, which is kind of stupid. I don't know why the hell they decided to do that, but hey, it was kind of like Capcom has said, okay, you know a little bit too much. You have to wait until you get the game. And they actually revealed I've been working on Resident Evil 2 Remake ever since 2015 to be exact. So yeah, 2015, they announced, hey, we're doing Resident Evil 2 Remake. And then we heard radio silence from them. We never heard anything about Resident Evil 2 Remake, and I was like scared they just canceled the project. But they didn't, they continued doing it, which is awesome. So we got Resident Evil 2 trailer, the Resident Evil 2 Remake trailer in E3 2018, and literally hours later, I went to the PlayStation Store and I see it, the pre-order is there, and I pre-ordered the deluxe version immediately because I actually had money. So I pre-ordered it, and I was extremely excited to play the game in 2019. Then 2019 rolled around, Resident Evil 2 Remake came out, and I streamed it. I think I streamed it. I didn't blind stream. I streamed it like a couple times on my YouTube channel. And I can safely say that Resident Evil 2 Remake was amazing. It reminded me a lot like the original game that I played 4 years prior. It was awesome, and it became one of the best Resident Evil games, if not the best Resident Evil game that came out in this modern era. Next to Resident Evil 4, it's up there being my favorite game. And this game's like Resident Evil 4 with I can like pop the game in, or I can download the game at any time and play it, and I still have the same amount of enjoyment. It has pretty high replay value to me. It's pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. The zapping system was there. They had the Force Survivor. They had the classic soundtrack into the game, or the new one. Some of the redesigns, some of the character redesigns were pretty cool. It was a really good game overall. It was a really good game. Really solid game. Then, at the same year, we heard that Resident Evil 3 Remake was going to be released the following year. I was pretty excited for it because Resident Evil 3 Remake was such a banger. So I was like, okay, 3 is going to be kind of like the same, but with Jill and all that. I was excited, but at the same time, I was still skeptical to see what they're doing. I played them on YouTube. The demo was great. Then the game released, and I did a full stream of it, and the game turned out to be 30% complete, and the rest were just all cut from the game. They literally did is they gave us shit, literal shit, and say, hey, here's 30% of the game, and that's it. There you go. It was extremely short compared to Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 will give you hours upon hours of gameplay, like quadruple the amount of hours just playing the campaign, the scenario campaigns alone. With Resident Evil, 3, there's some good things about it, like, the nightmare difficulty, which basically changes everything about the game, and it's much more terrifying, and, all that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. But still, the game was very, very short of the mark, and it was a goddamn disappointment. It was a big, big disappointment for me. And it just became one of the worst Resident Evil games of all time. And this game is kind of, I would say, one of the most disappointing Resident Evil games that have been played. I was very disappointed. And decided to just say, okay, let's put all our team to Resident Evil 2 and get the rest of the people, just like, there's a few people, let them work on Resident Evil 3 and just ship it out immediately. Like, the game felt like incomplete. It felt like it needs an extra year or two. If the game came out now, the game would be a lot better if it came out now. But no, they decided to fucking rush it. It was stupid, it was retarded, it was ridiculous. And their answer is like, oh, don't worry, we have this mode called Resistance. This other game, this gimmick game, Resistance, which it was a Dead by Daylight clone. It's one of those 4-on-1 type shit. I was like, literally, it's like Dead by Daylight. It's a fucking garbage game, and it's terrible. The game was broken, and it's literally a multiplayer that I dislike. I just hated it. Ever since they brought Jill and Nikolai in the game was never been the same. It was crap, it was shit, and I don't want anyone to play it. And I literally told one of my friends to not play it, and I'll give him a bunch of reasons. I literally gave him kind of almost like a list of reasons, and he told me, okay, I'm not gonna play it since you tell me all this, because I have experience with the game and I've seen the bullshit, because I don't want him to get the same bullshit or like I went through. I don't want to give him the same bullshit that I went through. So yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. Sorry I haven't mentioned these two games, and I mentioned it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.